as the country went through a devastating second phase of the COVID-19 pandemic, India's healthcare workers went on boats, went on foot, took drones, went to remote places and delivered vaccines to 1.3 billion Indians. A very, very big achievement. On this episode, which comes from a very special location at Vijay Chowk, we speak to Dr. Vinod Paul. This episode is all about India achieving this very important goal of giving 1 billion doses to its people, saving Indians and saving the world. India is very fond of centuries, being a cricket-loving nation. But this century of 100 crore doses of a vaccine against COVID-19 being administered to Indians is a very special century. India is not only protecting its 1.3 billion Indian citizens, but has also given vaccines to about 100 different countries. Today we have with us Dr. Vinod Paul. Namaskar, sir. Dr. Paul is a pediatrician by training, member health of Niti Aayog, somebody who initiated Ayushman Bharat program. And it may not be an overstatement if one says Dr. Vinod Paul is the 21st century Sushruta for India. I know you are shaking your head, but in all humility, this is what many experts think and believe, and you have done very well for the country by saving India against COVID-19. Dr. Paul, did you ever imagine that India would be able to deliver 1 billion doses in less than a year to its population?
Balaji, thank you very much. It's truly a very big day that India has crossed vaccinating 100 crore doses to our people. It's a proud moment for each one of us, all Indians. It's an achievement of a very high magnitude. It's a feat of science. It's also a remarkable tribute to the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister. It's truly a high moment in the history of India. 100 crore doses, but then it is still an unfinished agenda. We have set sights, the nation has set sights, our leadership has set sights at a complete coverage of the population of India, whoever needs vaccine, and that also a determination that we will achieve this by being Atmanirbhar, by ensuring research and development of a range of vaccines, as well as having huge manufacturing capacity, not only for our own nation, but also for the world. So this goal was already set by the Prime Minister. It is a tribute to the prowess of science and prowess of our industry, vaccine industry, pharma industry, coming, repurposing themselves, because there are some companies which were doing drugs and they decided to do vaccine. It is that prowess and the combined will of the people of India who embrace the vaccines and encourage this effort that this success this century has happened.
What made this possible? Was it a lot of political will, or as it is said, चाय में जितनी चीनी डाली जाएगी उतनी मीठी होगी, so you got the opportunity?
No, very judicious use of resources. Above all, it is, as you said, it is the political will. There is a clarity that this task has to be accomplished with the mantra of Atmanirbhar Bharat. We cannot think of getting dependent on other people, other nations to provide us the vaccine in such a large dose. We have to do it ourselves. It is evident. It was evident from the very beginning. how can such a large need be met by vaccines to be borrowed, to be donated by other people, and even to be bought at a cost? Where are those vaccines in the world? So it was evident to the nation that we have to rise, and we were, in a way, natural. It was natural for a nation which is known as the pharmacy of the world and a science prowess in its own right, that we would all rise to the occasion. But then the leadership provided us the clear direction, the leadership provided us guidance, the leadership provided us mentorship, and created structures that worked in this direction. And then, of course, resources were put. Mission COVID Suraksha, which was articulated and conceptualized by the Department of Biotechnology, approved by the Cabinet, approved by the Prime Minister, had a corpus of 900 crore. And very strategically, it was spent on multiple facets of developing vaccines and other technologies in a very, very calibrated, useful, highly cost-effective way, which included significant grants to BioE, to Bharat, to Genova, to Cadila, and then now we have directed 150 crore of grants to the PSUs, which are augmenting the Covaxin production and also Bharat's own Covaxin production. So there was a design behind it, but it was not only sugar. Sugar was in a healthy dose. It is the best use of resources, and the real resource are the people of India. The science enterprise, the industry enterprise, and the facilitation that was provided by the Government of India under the leadership of the Prime Minister. You know, Pallavji, what was done from the very beginning to realize this goal was creating interministerial structure, a task force on vaccine and science and technology.
And you were chairing the COVID-19 task force?
Well, this is a SNT task force, the PSA and I co-chair, and then this was meant to look at the vaccine candidates, and I can say today that there were other vaccine candidates in our own science laboratories. We nurtured them, the departments nurtured them, talked to the scientists repeatedly, talked to the industry, and created an ecosystem where the ideas and the products started to become visible. And whichever was then crossing the threshold of translation, that was supported through multiple mechanisms, and above all, mechanism of facilitation, mechanism of getting connected, encouraging, and so on and so forth. And then came the National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration, which was the implementation interministerial system, which then laid down the blueprint of the implementation scale up of the vaccine in the country in partnership with the state governments and experts, because it has those members. That state interface was very important. The point that I'm making is that it is this ecosystem and the blessing and the mentorship and a clear direction from the Honorable Prime Minister which set the stage for us to move in that direction. And 100 crore is only an intermediate milestone.
Yes.
We still have a way forward, and we still have a way forward not only for India but also to be able to help the humanity, because that has also been the motto from the very beginning by the nation and by the Prime Minister.
When you're talking of humanity, I should ask you, not only has India administered 1 billion doses to its citizens, India has also given over 70 million doses to about 100 countries across the world for saving their citizens. Would you call this truly Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is the world is one family, being enunciated from India, and we are standing at Vijay Chowk where a new India is unfolding?
Pallavji, in fact, the Honorable Prime Minister used Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam to enunciate this principle on behalf of the nation, that these technologies, vaccine and other technologies, are not only for India. Made in India vaccines and drugs are not only for India, but for the humanity, मानवता के लिए. उन्होंने ये हमें बार बार अपनी मीटिंग्स में कन्वे करा, और उस रोल को हम पूरा करने की तरफ बढ़े हैं. आपने भी बात करी कि वैक्सीन ऑलरेडी दिया गया है, उसके बाद एक ऐसी सिचुएशन आई where India's own needs were overwhelming, and rightly so.
Correct.
And that need has been fulfilled to a very strong measure. But going forward, yes, the capacities that India has for vaccines and the number of vaccine choices that are appearing on the scene are available beyond the needs of India for the world. And I really expect that the year 2022 will be known for India's massive support worldwide, massive supplies worldwide for the vaccines in every nook and corner of the world. We would be the main player for eliminating and extinguishing the pandemic from the face of this planet through the vaccines developed in India.
Dr. Paul, what would you say? Could we have done this without having had our own indigenous vaccine of Covaxin and Bharat Biotech?
No way. Please appreciate that this achievement of a century, 100 crore, 1 billion doses and beyond, is riding on the shoulders of two main vaccines. Covaxin we developed ourselves, relatively modest sized company, which then evolved and blossomed and bloomed and continues to do so. It started from a relatively modest base, but it showed its capability and a risk-taking capacity. We salute them. We were fortunate that AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine was offered to a great company which has played such a role in childhood vaccines worldwide, the biggest producer in many, many ways, the Serum Institute. We salute that company because that company had such a large volume. They have a history of serving the world with the vaccines. So that technology, when it comes to India, they rise to the occasion. But even that vaccine is made in India. It is this base which was not available elsewhere, which came to help the country and the world. There are not many sites where AstraZeneca Oxford vaccines are being developed. They are limited sites. If it was so easy, why there are no 20 such sites? And why Serum is producing perhaps the largest volume? So the fact that we had that ecosystem, the fact that we had that infrastructure, and this great company was there, provided an opportunity for a vaccine developed elsewhere to go to scale. And India is a direct beneficiary, but the world is the additional beneficiary. So it is true, they have contributed 85% of the vaccine doses that have been given. Covaxin has contributed about 15%, small contribution also from Sputnik, which also
Yes,
we have the capacity to make, and India facilitated that India-Russia vaccine, so to say, and there's more to come on that front. But to answer your question, without these two vaccines, obviously it is not possible, and without having Covaxin, again we would have been truncated and we would have looked somewhat dependent on a certain different paradigm of vaccine production. Going forward, Pallabji, there are many other opportunities, and if you
We will talk
will
about
talk
the
about it, you let me know. There are
We
choices.
will talk about the opportunities and the other vaccines.
The efforts are still unfolding.
Correct.
Pallabji.
Correct, because like you said, it's a milestone and we have a lot of journey to cover. Dr. Paul, there are also some concerns around the vaccination program. If you permit, let's sit down and talk
sure.
about that.
Yes, please sit down. Thank you so much.
We are at the Vijay Chowk, the historic Raisina Hill right behind us. A historic day for India, where India created a very special century. Dr. Paul, while we celebrate this very unique moment, there are also some concerns. One of the concerns is that there is a very large gap between people who have taken the first dose and people who have taken the second dose, even though the first dose gives about 96% immunity. Does that concern you as a public health person?
In fact, I have two concerns. My first concern is that those 75% of India's adults have taken one dose. Conversely, 24-25% have not taken even the first dose. So I'll start there.
Okay. So you are more worried about the people who are unvaccinated.
Because that is the starting point. It's only when you take the first dose, you are entitled to take the second dose, which I'll come to in a minute. So our first priority, mission, and real effort needs to be directed to getting into the fold of the vaccination program those adults who are eligible for vaccination and have not yet joined us. Well, there is time because we've been working hard. And you can see 100 crore doses, large population covered. But then the work is not complete for the nation till there is a universal coverage of the adult population. Only then can we stall the pandemic, and only then can we feel sufficiently secure. So we have a security net around us, a security cordon around us, but this has to be further strengthened. So there need to be efforts to get those who have yet been either left out or by choice have not yet come into the fold. My belief is it is not about what we normally call as vaccine hesitancy. That means I don't want to come kind of a situation. My guess and my understanding by talking and looking at the performance of the states is really that we still have to ensure that the information percolates so that I know that I need to get a vaccine. I am in a urban pocket which is relatively less well served. I am in a rural location. I am left out because of the age, disability. I may not be in contact. I may be most marginalized person. So the information may not be there. I have information, but I don't know where to go. I have disability and I am not in a position to readily reach. So the point that I'm making is that now that a rapid phase has picked up, as we move up, those who have been left out have to be embraced, have to be reached out. And that's the priority which has been taken up with the state governments, and they are all mindful of this. And you will see in coming days action to proactively look at those who have been left out. No one should be left out of this program. That's the first priority. And here media can help, large conversation can help, a buzz around this aspect by the civil society, by NGOs in general, young people, youth, volunteers can help, and I would expect that to happen increasingly so. The issue of second dose being awaited is also very, very important. Complete second dose, 30% adults have taken. Not everybody is due for the second dose of the remaining.
There is a gap, yes.
Yeah, but we do know, and our estimate is that about 10 crore people, till about yesterday or day before, are those whose time for the second dose has passed. So they're gone beyond it. Now, that's not fair. You took the first dose, you came to the vaccination center, you enjoyed the experience, which was positive, you felt protected, but then please take the second dose. Second dose के बिना protection complete नहीं है. It is immunity at this level until wane off. It might provide protection to an extent, but then it's not your optimum guarantee. And also, if so many of us have taken half-hearted dosing, it's not enough protection for the nation, because ultimately we have to be the shield against the pandemic. That would not be achieved. So what is needed is to persuade those who have taken the first dose to come and take the second dose, complete the vaccination, move from this level of immunity to this level of immunity, because the second dose pushes immunity in an exponential manner, so much more an optimum level. So
Do you think also should we start talking of booster doses for people who are vulnerable?
At this point in time, the national and the global priority is truly to ensure that the first prime course, full doses are taken. That's of paramount importance, because without that there are no boosters. And that also distracts, because we need to cover those who have not taken the first dose, not taken the second dose. So from the government's point of view, as of today, our clear priority is that we must cover the adult population, which must receive the 2 doses, and we become protected. But the issue of booster is not off the table or off radar. No, there are complex issues. Where is the recommendation from, let's say, WHO, or a universal recommendation that booster doses should be given? There is none. It's in the realm of scientific discourse. It's in the realm of scientific discourse because booster dose for vaccine A may be at a different point compared to the other vaccine. So then we have to be talking about our vaccine. We couldn't be taking cues from mRNA vaccine studies somewhere. So we continue to look at our own data, and that's a job which is given to the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization. Other scientists are also watching that space. The studies of this nature are going on. Only through these studies we will know when the time comes that the immunity is low, even the T cell immunity is low, that you need to boost. As of today, therefore, it is a science in action, science in work in progress, and with time we will know when such a dose need to be
What about
given. There is no hurry to move in this direction. We must complete the task of adult immunization at this point in time. If there is an eventual need, Pallabji, for booster doses, India will have plenty of doses to give, and it can take care of that.
Lovely to hear that we would be able to take care of booster doses if required.
As well, if required.
But right now, what is the understanding on giving vaccines to children in India?
Partly the same answer. It's still in the realm of scientific discourse. It is in the realm of making sure that such a necessity does exist. Yes, we have some countries that have started vaccinating their adolescents and children. Yes, there could be a rationale in some sense, but we must remember that the first guarantee for children to be protected is when all adults around them are protected. Children get the disease, but it is minimal, it is mild, it is hardly ever associated with mortality, except if they have serious comorbidities. So this we must understand. There is no need to rush to this. This can be a graded scientific process. Again, our scientists are looking at this, whom to start giving, if at all. Is it age-wise or certain child categories? It's a work again actively being pursued. I again want to remind that WHO has given no such recommendation for vaccinating every child. They have talked about covering those with comorbidities. So this is the question we have posed to RNTechie. Now, the other part is, what are the vaccines available to be given to children? So there can be a need, but we need the supply.
Correct.
On the supply side, we have an interesting and optimistic beginning. We have DNA vaccine licensed up to the age of 12 and adults. And
Which is also the world's first DNA vaccine.
absolutely, and we must celebrate that in particular as well. And then you have Covaxin licensed for children up to 2 years of age. So we have some stockpile potentially available to be given to children if there is a scientific rationale. So we are in this space balancing the scientific rationale with the ongoing program where the priority is to cover the adults first and foremost. No country has gone to children without covering the largest possible adult power. And that's what exactly we will do. We'll continue to examine the science of it at the same time.
Having understood India's vaccination effort and the reaching of 1 billion doses of vaccines administered, in the next part, let us talk about drugs against COVID-19 and India's COVID-19 vaccine portfolio, all part of India's self-reliant or Atmanirbhar Bharat India. Keep watching India Science.